G'day guys and welcome back to another video with Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. Today we'll be going through round 14, the last of the bye rounds. It's been overall a successful bye rounds for myself, not as good as it could have been. I think I went up from about the 17k mark to about 11k over the 3 weeks, so went backwards in 1 week. I think the first and then the last 2 weeks have made up a little bit of ground. But yeah, obviously not as much as I would have liked, but some things you can control, some you can't. Don't think there's anything really that I could have done more as far as trades and whatnot have gone, but or captaincy, but just the overall performance of the team and a couple of outs that just don't go your way, and that's how it works sometimes. And there's a few more issues popped up across the weekend, so yeah, such is the fun of SuperCoach. There's a few more things to discuss, as you know, pretty much. I mean, if you haven't got a finished team already, most of you are probably looking at finishing it this week, so that might have been delayed with, you know, Zach Butters, Tim English, a couple of talking points there, which I'll get to later on. But scored 1855 for the week. About 1800 was enough to sort of go up or hold your rank, and wasn't too much over the past score really. So only went up about 1500 spots. Still sit at just outside the top 10k, and yeah, I mean, I've got 7 trades. Maybe that's in a better position than most, but it's also because I've still got 1 primo to get in to finish my team, which will probably be delayed another week due to Zach Butters. So there is news that's come out, which we'll talk about, as I said, later on. But we'll just quickly run over the team and how it did go this week. Starting off in defence, I got in Sinclair after his bye 2 weeks ago. He's been good, just solid as ever. He's exactly 600k, right on the dot to the zero. So he's been good. Stewart was, well, unsighted for the first half and just sort of 16 touches on his way to a 95, which is, I guess it's a good sign. You know, West Coast actually did play better than a lot of us would have thought. So there's just a lot of guys in Geelong's backline that love taking the ball, you know, Duncan taking kickouts, Tui back there this week. So look, they get North in 2 weeks at GMHBA. I'll be looking at the VC, I think, for Stewart then. He just plays a lot better down there. They can shrink the ground much easier, suit their game style more. You know, Tigers this week at the G, I mean, might be good in for a good score there as well. We do tend to just kick the ball in long, and that suits someone like Stewart. So he's been fine. Honestly, he was one of the great starting picks, just, you know, with gastro and then with a concussion, just been just hurt a bit by that. And then, you know, people can grab him probably next week for 550k, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, if you had enough now this week, I'd grab him as your last defender if he was one you didn't have. Dawson was awesome. That was very good to watch yesterday in a pretty, you know, it got exciting towards the end, but, you know, he was just clearing away the Crows' best player on the day. Just the way he uses it by foot is just a joy to watch. So he's, again, I started him and Stewart, and they've just been 2 of the great defenders for the season. He's pushing the 110 average almost, you know, another big one like this, which is definitely in his repertoire. They got North this week, so there it is. If he plays a bit more forward of the ball this week, he'd be in for a big one, and yeah, can maybe get to the 110 average, which would be awesome. Hewitt, solid as ever. Not much needs to be said about him. Shorty, actually think he played pretty good for the conditions. You know, 25 touches, I think 24 were kicks, and he had about 16 inside 50s from those kicks. So played the game plan beautifully. Obviously, it's not always going to translate into SuperCoach points, and I think pretty much all of us would agree he'd probably be better behind the ball for SuperCoach reasons, but I think he's actually playing as well as I could have imagined him playing in the midfield. So we look for him a lot. The inside bulls like your Graham and your Prestia, feed it out to him, and that's his role to get sort of gain territory with his legs. So I think he's doing that as well as you could ask him to do. It's just that there's going to be a bit of up and down with the scoring. So I do think a big one is coming, and with North and West Coast in the next 3 weeks, he can definitely pull out a big one there. So he's not an urgency trade out for me. And I think with what's popped up this week, not many of us have that luxury anyway. So he's fine. Massimo D'Ambrosio, that was good to see. He was pretty impressive for a first gamer, literally just getting picked up a couple of weeks ago from under the Tigers VFL as well. So he looked really good. Happy to have him as my sort of cover for the rest of the year. I assume or hope he would keep playing If not, Rory Thompson should be back, I believe, in the coming weeks. And then Sicily obviously didn't play. Touk, he's just sort of one of those classic Touk games that we've seen quite a few of this year, and obviously too many of them this year. Yeah, again, I don't think he probably deserved the 100, but he did sort of push through to the end. He just hasn't been as electric and as good as he was last year, but there's still time for him to turn that around, of course. McRae was awesome, had the VC on him, so managed to nail the highest score on my team for a captaincy score, which was nice. So yeah, locked that in. He was unbelievable. Cripper, a bit annoying. I mean, he has absolutely sold me up the river, a bloke that I did avoid for much part of the first 6 or 7 weeks. And when he came back from that second, he was like 530k, and he was at just too good of a price to pass up. And he's given me like 105 average since then. It's just, yeah, he's absolutely done me here. So fair play, Cripper. You just can't go anywhere. I've got to hold on to you. Cogs was awesome. Kicked a couple of snags. He's just been, really good the last month. So happy to see Cogs playing well. Zerrett, couple of 90s since getting him in. Again, not much can be said about him. Just gotta pray he can sort of hold at least sort of 100, 105 average from here. I don't expect too much from him, but yeah, at the time, he sort of was the value option I had to go for, and yeah, hopefully it can pay off. I mean, West Coast this week, maybe he can put in a big one. Captain Dacos just for the loop. Stevens was actually pretty solid. I liked his game, and then Ovens obviously was out with concussion. The rest of the boys on the bye. The ruck line, Witsy, wasn't a good game from him. When he does rely on the hit-outs to advantage a lot and he doesn't get them, then this is what you can expect, which, to be fair, we haven't seen much of, but I think he only had about 4 or 5 to advantage, and then when that only makes up, half of his score there, 25 points, he doesn't really do much else around the ground to score any other points. So he really does need your sort of 10 to 15 a game, and if he's not getting it, then you're probably expecting sort of a ton to a sub-ton. So that's just the simple fact of Witsy, and yeah, hopefully, I mean, look, there's not many rush options, and he's still playing, so happy to have him. Teakle, that was annoying for him and disappointing in his first game. Looked really good in a quarter, and then went, I think, broke his collarbone, so that's unfortunate for him. And then obviously the Shrek we get back this week, which is good against Carlton, so hopefully in for a big one there. English was back. He played pretty well. Prusy slammed him into the turf, and he's got delayed concussion, so he is going to miss at least 1 and maybe 2 when you look at the 12-day protocols. If that starts from today, which I believe it's delayed on concussion, I don't know the true rules of it, but that would mean he is a big chance and to miss next week as well, which they play on the Thursday. So that is slightly annoying, or very annoying. Played Thursday against the Lions, sorry, at the Gabba. That is a bit annoying. So hopefully that's not the case, and he can only just miss the 1. But yeah, be prepared for that, and maybe we get some clarity on that throughout the week. Bont. So once, I guess we can speak about Butters. Once I knew that injury and assumed or thought that it would be your sort of 3+ with a medial, and that I was going to be trading him almost certainly, I opted to go Bont over Laird first. I was probably getting those 2 guys in regardless, but I just went Bont first. Meant I get the forward, and it meant that since I hold Dacos instead, I can field Dacos this week at M8. Whereas if I went Laird, Dacos would be sitting on the bench. Or maybe uses a loop or something, so probably not as optimal as you would have thought, and then I'd have to field a rookie at F6, but it's going to probably turn out that way anyway. With English out, Butters out, probably didn't go to plan too well, but Bont played well, so you can't really be mad at that. He played very well for the 120. Dunks again was good for the 114, and then Butters. So apparently he was on radio tonight, or this afternoon. He's saying it's a grade 2 medial sprain or something in his knee, and that it'll only be 1 to 2 weeks, and hopefully nothing more. Doesn't give you the full confidence that it will be only 1, maybe 2. It's a bit of a tough one. I'm still leaning at this current point in time to trading him, just so I can get going on what I want to do. But it is something that is look, you're going to be without English and Butters, so I think my bench is too stretched there, especially with Maurice, as we can see, who I think actually should be coming into the team. He played really well after coming on as a sub for, not even a quarter. Judson, Paul Curtis, I don't want to be fielding two of those guys, I think, this week. So I think Butters will still be going for me, but maybe if you're really short on trades and you've got something else you can do, you'd maybe consider holding him. But look, something we'll talk about on the podcast tonight. And then, nothing else really to talk about here. Or Darcy Cameron, who will be very, very handy for me, will be back this week. So let's move on to initially what I'm sort of thinking with the trades. And look, I will stick for now to Butters leaving my side. Now, if I wanted to just do one trade, players I can afford in the forward line is really only Isaac Heaney that I see. I don't really like a lot of these other options. Treloar, you could argue, isn't too bad. Averaging just a tick under 100 on the year. Gresham's been really good. Taranto, I just don't trust. None of these guys really tickle my fancy. Maybe if we look at the 3-round averages, there is Himmelberg there I can do as well, who, if he keeps that role, probably will be good for about 100 average. And then if you go the 5-rounder, I've already got the old Darcy Cameron, who, look, if you were strapped for cash, maybe he'd be your option if you didn't already have him. But if I just do Isaac in one trade, I'm still going to be very stretched in the forward line. So I'm going to have to be fielding one of Judson Clark or Paul Curtis, which isn't the greatest thing. But my other thinking is I make a second trade, and I think I think Danger's going to be back this week. I'm not totally sure on that. We haven't really found out yet. But get in, say, maybe a Carmichael, maybe a Jai Cully. And look, my plan, this is really going to kill me, but always wanted to get led, and obviously the plan was last week to do it. That changed. This week he's got North. If I don't go him, I'll be really concerned, really stressed, but I can't afford him. He just fits just outside this bracket with this. And even if I could, I'd have to be looping Dacos, maybe with a Petrarca or something to maybe get the best score there. And I'd still have the same issue of having to field two of these rookies down here now with English out. So it just doesn't seem logical for me to do that. I think the clear play here is to get Luke Parker, who, again, a guy I've always been trying to get in at some point during the season, just haven't had the, haven't been able to time it well. So doing this, Butters to Parker, gets me a forward, which I kind of need. Yes, it's a big problem not having led, especially this week, but even for the season. Maybe he's someone I can try and get in later, but it's going to, again, probably cost me 3 trades to do it, which just doesn't seem logical. So, say I VC Clary or something into McRae, chuck the E on Petrarca as he plays first. If he if he goes maybe 90 or less, maybe I just go Nick Dacos instead. Is that optimal? Who knows? But this means I still do have to field Judson Clark or Paul Curtis here. So in a bit of a pickle. Cogs is down here. Maybe I can field Petrarca over here and then have Judson Clark here. So that actually does work well, but English is obviously still out and still have to field Paul Curtis or Judson down here. So it doesn't really change. So yeah, the English stuff has really thrown it up. We'd probably have Teague will cover if he was still playing, but he's, I think, out for 2 months. So yeah, Butters and English really is going to stretch a few of us on the forward bench. Judson Clark's probably going to be on field for a lot of people. Maybe I can get a good score out of Paul Curtis against Adelaide. Who knows? It's pretty hopeful. But the other option, obviously, to not getting Parker would be to field Judson down here and Curtis and then get led. But it just doesn't. I was going to do that before English was out, but now with English out, I just think it's just really a non-option for me. So led, I've sort of got to let go for now. Left with 60k here. Dacos has a really low break even, about 13. He'll pop up about 20, 30k this week. Let's say he gets to 430, be optimal or be hopeful. plus your 60 is about 490. Then I'll just do with 2 trades, Curtis down, grab another 100, 110k. What's he going to be? You know, I mean, he may be about 230, you know. And then I'll probably just be short of Laird and Mills again, which will be frustrating. So we'll have to make a call there. But maybe Dacos can go big enough for me so I can quite get to there. And then I'll grab Laird the week after. Of course, I'll miss the North game. But yeah, if he goes massive, I'll probably, won't be able to get him. Quickly check Mills' break even because I think Laird is about 90 odd. So Mills is about 116. Maybe ended up getting him. Or absolute last resort would be like a Jack Steele. You know, he should be back this week or next. Finish my midfield off with him. If he's not, then I think Brayshaw would be the last option. And then keep a bit of cash in the bank for any injury trades that occur. So Laird's probably going to have to go, which again is going to be a big issue for me. But I just think it doesn't make any sense to get him and then, you know, field 2 forward rookies now and have Dacos looped with. But it just doesn't seem logical anymore. I was thinking about it before English was out, but that's kind of where I've sit. So let me know what you guys are doing with Butters and English. I think for me, English is still clear like top 2 forward. And if he's only missing the 1, it'd be great. If it's 2, yeah, it's annoying, but at least I know he's back and he's going to be fine. Whereas with Butters, I just, look, maybe more information's needed, but 1 to 2 weeks for remedial doesn't seem likely or true. I'm just not too sure. And he does worry you every week anyway when he is playing that he just is going to get injured. So I think maybe just cash it in now, because if it does go wrong, he's going to eat some more. He's going to eat some more value even when he does come back. So I think I'm sticking to that now. Use my last 2 more trades to get my last mid, and then sit on 3 trades for the rest of the year and just cross your fingers. So yeah, I will be actively not avoiding this North versus Adelaide game this week without Rory Laird. Maybe I'll chuck a bet on tab for 150 plus SuperCoach points just to make it still go all right. But that's where we're sitting, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the podcast tomorrow. Cheers.